Hey guys, welcome to the Real EQ podcast. I'm your host, EQ, and this is where we have real conversations with real people doing real stuff. And my guest today is definitely not an exception to that. He is the founder and CEO of the Fitness Connection, the Bahamas' leading supplement and fitness retailer. What began in 2011 with $1,200 worth of supplements sold out of the back trunk of his car has grown into a multiple seven-figure business with 4 retail locations, a strong e-commerce presence, and a private label brands like Fitwell Supplements and Fit Chicks Apparel. He is passionate about building community through health and wellness, leading programs like the Transformation Challenge, and creating content that inspires both fitness and entrepreneurship. With a vision of further expansion both locally and internationally, my guest continues to push forward on his mission of helping people become the best versions of themselves. I'd like to welcome to the Really Cute podcast my brother-in-law, D'Amico Nesbitt.
Thank you.
Yay!
Excited to finally be here. Finally be on the set with you.
I know, Miko, we was talking about this for a while, but and it only took you actually, moving to Nassau.
I need that.
But I'm so glad. I appreciate the fact that you're a very busy man, so I appreciate you taking the time out to chat with me. I like to start the podcast off by just asking, how do you define success?
I think success is being able to set goals, accomplish them, and live your life the way you want to live it generally. Enjoying life and being able to accomplish goals. I think that's how I would summarize it.
Awesome. And based on that definition, would you say that you're successful?
Yes, I would say I am. I would also say that, with that said, it's different levels. So I think I have a lower level, and I would want to aim for a higher level of it.
Even speaking about levels, right? I knew the story that you started the Fitness Connection literally selling out of the back trunk of your car. I think it was like a Honda Accord.
2000 Honda Accord, black with a spoiler.
So, really, when you started out doing that, did you envision, or was it always the goal to get Fitness Connection to where it is today?
No, when I started, it was basically, I'm earning this much money. I need to earn more. I want to do more things. I have goals. This is not going to be enough. This is the way I'm going to earn that extra income. Even if I earn a couple hundred a week, that was my goal at the time. So it's just about earning more.
How do you go from selling out the back trunk of your car to now a multiple seven-figure business with multiple locations on various islands in the Bahamas?
Yeah, so one of our values is constant improvement. So it's a journey, right? So we start off with the goal just being, I want to get away from my job and earn more than I'm earning now. And then it's like, an hour, I want to earn a little bit more. I travel to a seminar, I see someone else in my field earning 10 times what I'm earning. That opened my eyes. Now I set my targets a bit higher. It's just been a matter of setting a target, hitting it, and then moving that target further and further every time.
Awesome. Now, I think, I share with your sister, my wife, that we grew up in 2 different households, right? Mm. Because you grew up in an entrepreneurial household, right? I remember her sharing the story of, when your dad went full-time into his business. And so that was something that was not only that you could model because that was in the house, but it was also something that was encouraged, right? My experience was completely different. Later in life as an adult, when I told my mom I was leaving my good paying job. To go into business and be an entrepreneur, she's like, you can leave that good paying job. And literally she, kind of was like, hold on. I think you crazy because entrepreneurship is for them, not for us, right? Yeah. How would you say that, growing up in an entrepreneurial household, watching your dad, watching your mom, how would you say that really shaped the type of entrepreneur that you are today, whether contributed or you avoided things that did it? How was that experience for you?
I think both. I think one, it really contributed to me even thinking with an entrepreneurial mindset. I went to college thinking I'm going to study business because I want to own a business. Now, I graduated, I didn't know what it was going to be. I didn't have any idea, but my whole plan through school life was centered around business, and my dad really pushed that sort of on me, that concept of being an entrepreneur and owning a business, even by the books that we read. He had a board game we would play. I think it was like the Rich Dad, Poor Dad board game. So we got introduced to that, and I was able to actually see him, like you said, go from working as a warehouse manager into basically being forced to start his own business and watching that grow and being a part of that growth from I was younger. So it really was beneficial to have that influence, and that, and along with the work ethic, because we had to put in work. Like as 11, 10, 11, 12-year-old, we was out there working with the business, growing the business, be doing the physical labor with it. So that helped. It's still the work ethic and the concept of entrepreneurship.
Now, as a parent now yourself, right? Like, what is it that you want to impart on your daughter, right? Like, I mean, is it that you want to, all right, Demi, I want you to be an entrepreneur as well? Or, like, what lessons do you want to impart on her throughout this journey of life, right? Like, in terms of, do you want her to be an entrepreneur? Is this the best thing for her? Or, like, what is your thought process there?
I want to be able to set her up for her to have options. So whether that is she wants to, whether we have a business I could pass down for her to run, or whether she wants to do her own thing, or whether she just wants to be a philanthropist or do art, whatever it is, that she has that option because we already set that up previously. So I would want to have the values that I have, hard work, honesty, ethics, those sort of things. But ultimately, I want her to be able to make her own choice and live her life the way that she wants to.
And that's cool because now she's growing up in an entrepreneurial house because your wife is an entrepreneur as well.
Yes.
How is that dynamic? Because, I know for me, similar scenario, but I had to learn to take a step back and allow my wife to build the business in the way that she wants to build, right? I've had the opportunity to enjoy a certain level of success, but I kind of, like, how do you navigate that? Being an astute businessman yourself, is it where, you give unsolicited advice, or you kind of just let her, like, how do you navigate being in a relationship, in a marriage with another entrepreneur?
Yeah, well, I don't have to give, I'm mindful about what advice I give, and I try to listen more, but my wife does ask a lot of questions on business, so I'm able to give that advice when asked and not when not asked. And then we also do a lot of, I call, like, workations. So we'll go to a seminar, and it helps with the marriage too. So we get to do a couple days learn about business, and then also enjoy ourselves, travel, do dinner and stuff at night, and keep the relationship spark
Nice.
going.
I know firsthand that you invest quite a bit of money, time, energy, and resources into your own professional development through courses, through coaching, through going to conferences. How important is that when you're on your entrepreneurial journey to really make that dollar investment? Because I know for me, like, I started as like, I could just YouTube it, man. Like, I could go on YouTube and get all this information. But how would you say making that investment, and then even like a dollar by, like, how much would you say you would have invested over your entrepreneurial journey, round figure, on your personal, professional development?
One, investing in yourself and your business is one of the, I don't know what to say, what's the driving force, right? It's what's going to get you the education, because you don't know what you don't know. It's going to get you in rooms with people who could give you that one small tip that makes a huge difference. It gets you introduced to people that could get you to the next level. I would say last year itself, I spent, I don't even call numbers on your show, but I spent over 6 figures last year itself. That's the most money I ever spent on just personal development, investment, business investment. And over the course of the lifetime, a lot. I spent a lot on it. So I could say, and it's paid off. That's the main thing. Like, one example, I spent $10,000 to learn to run Facebook ads. But that's a skill. So that's something now that I've been able to use for years and years over to multiply because with advertisement, it multiplies your sales. A lot of people know of us because of the Facebook ads. Hey, I always see you on Facebook, Instagram. So that that investment, that $10,000 was a lot to invest and learn around. Yeah, you say you go online and watch videos and learn these stuff, or hire someone on Fiverr or what's not. But that mentorship from someone who was a pro was able to walk me through and teach, and now I could teach my team how to do that. So I think once you invest in skills is something that you can keep for a lifetime. And now even if this business was to go tomorrow, I had to open a different business, I would already know a lot of the skills that I need to make that business grow.
How transferable are these things? I mean, you're in retail. If you wanted, like, could you branch out into other businesses?
Yeah, I think two of the most important skills are sales and marketing. So, like, those are the two skills I probably most heavily invested in. So any business, people have to know you. So as marketing, so you're making content, or depending on the niche that you're in, you're putting yourself out there so people know what product and service you have. If they don't know you, they can't buy from you. So that's the marketing part of it. And then the sales come as they start inquiring or reaching out. You have to know how to get that value, get that money out of them, and how to keep on selling them, not just selling them one time, but to keep on over and over so they keep coming back and to keep that sales cycle flowing. So yeah, I would say the sales and marketing could transfer into any business.
Awesome. Now, since 2011, I think it was when you started,
Yes.
right? What would you say has been one thing that you know now that was actually preventing your growth as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, growth and success, that you corrected on the journey?
One, being cheap, right? And that's in different areas, but being cheap and not being willing to invest in myself, not being willing to invest in my team, and not just like raising pay, but investing in skills as well. Being able to put like incentives and commissions and those structures in. When I implemented those things, I saw immediate uptick in even the attitude at work, because there's a difference when you on the clock, you just letting hours pass by, or you on the clock, you actively trying to get more sales because it both benefits you and the business. So that was one of the main things I saw a change that I made.
Awesome. And so, you talk about team. Now, I imagine that back in 2001, when you was driving around your Honda Accord, selling out the back trunk of your car, you didn't have a team.
No.
Talk to me a little bit about that transition from going from that, one-man band, hustler, I just need a couple of dollars, to now building out a team. Like, what was your first hire, your second hire? Like, kind of take me through that journey, if you would.
My first two hires were part of the government program. So there was the same time I opened my store, it was like a temporary thing. And actually the person that came to the store was like, hey, I saw the store just opened, you need someone? Like, sure. There was no interview. It was none of that stuff. I just literally brought them on. And now they didn't last or they weren't the best, but it was a learning experience, right? So actually you said, I started, even though I started out the trunk of my car, when the store first opened, I always had someone else in the store. So I did have a team, just it was a really small team.
In just a recent conversation you and I had, you just brought in a regional manager,
Yeah.
right? So now how do you go from hiring somebody just because they were available to now really talking about, okay, well, I'm hiring a top performer who has 2 decades of experience? Like, how do you go from that? Because I'm sure there's somebody watching now who's wondering, okay, well, who should I hire? How do I hire? That's the challenge that I have, like always trying to find good people. We're constantly recruiting. So I just want to know a little bit, like, what was your mindset? How did you build out the team to where you are now?
A lot of it was forced because you get to the point where you can't do it. And if you do it, you're not doing it well. So when the business starts breaking, then you realize, hey, we need a change. And the benefit of having, like you said, the coaches and the outsource of help and advice, they could tell you, hey, well, I can see your business is here. This is the pain point that you have, and you should hire this type of person. But at the first, it was like, hey, I was making all the orders, driving to the harbor, picking up the orders, doing all the customs entries, counting them, putting them on the shelf, then going making the Facebook ads, everything. And then it comes to a point, it's cool if it's only 1 or 2 boxes. But when it becomes a pallet or 2 pallets, now they can't fit inside my Honda Accord. Now I got to get someone else to come. So as the business grows, a lot of those things are forced. But it's better, I've realized, to get that advice before things break as opposed to after, because you can sort of plan ahead now. Now what we're doing now is sort of plan ahead. We got to hire managers and put these things in place before we expand to the next level. So I would say it's before I was waiting until things break to hire someone to fix it. Now it's more pre-planning to sort of not have things break.
Yeah, but Miko, I'm here and I'm like, okay, well, I can't really afford to bring somebody on. And I am, I see, I'm not operating as efficiently as I can. I'm missing opportunities. I'm falling behind on certain tasks, but I really can't afford to bring somebody on. Like, what would you say to somebody who's making that assertion right now?
Yeah, without knowledge of the business itself, I would say look at your business. Like, it should, sales and marketing, talk about that. Is it that you're not getting enough sales, or you're not putting yourself out there enough? Is your product underpriced? Maybe you're selling stuff, but you're not keeping enough on the back end. Do you even know what because I did it for a while, I didn't do any finance accounting. I was just looking, hey, if the bank account's going up, then we're good, right? But actually looking at those numbers and being able to see, hey, where can I invest? Can I actually afford to invest? And so I would say if you're not sure you can't afford it, then there's going to be a time where you do have to do those things until you get to a certain point, and then it's a method of delegating. Hey, what am I not good at? Can I pass on to someone else? What's taking up all of my time, or where's the business breaking that we really need to bring someone in to fill this role?
What does keep you up at night? Or you like some of my other guests who say they sleep good?
Caffeine, too much energy drinks, and they keep me up. But no, seriously, I just sometimes ideas. As an entrepreneur, sometimes you wake up with an idea, or you wake up you can't sleep, and you got to go write something down or go search stuff like that. But if you mean like one of the bigger issues that I'm having or that I really want to solve right now, it is people. So like hiring, getting stuff in place, solving problems that we do have now, so that we can expand. That's the main thing. Figuring out how it's like it's not one thing. So it's like we did one of the mentorships. They gave us a big book about this thick with things to fix. So now it's a matter of going through that piece by piece and what's the most important thing, what's the most high impact thing, let's fix this, and then it's on to the next thing. So it's been the last couple of months just a awesome journey every week of fixing a lot of stuff. So it's great.
How do you manage the pressure, man? I mean, like, I know for me, working out has been my salvation. I think one of the best decisions that I've ever made was to build up my own gym. Equipment provided by the Fitness Connection. But like, I know for me, like, the weight of business and just the sheer pressure of balancing that and life, and trying to be a good entrepreneur, be a good employer, be a good husband, be a good father. Like, sometimes, honestly, it really gets to me, and sometimes I just go in the gym and just sit down there and put my hand in my head, like I just need a moment, right? How do you balance all of these? Because I see you, and I see you're doing it. I see you're fulfilling all of these different roles, right? So how do you balance it all without breaking any of it?
Yeah, even though things seem balanced, sometimes it's seasonal balance. So I would say right now we have a lot to work on. So I might have fell behind on some of those other areas, right? So it's like realizing that and having talking to the wife, saying, hey, I'm working on this right now, so we might not be able to do X, Y, Z, what we normally do, or as much. Or if you see it's a point like where you need to do some more, then just taking a step back. So like you say, it's a constant balance. It's not perfect. It's not easy. So just realizing that too, it's not easy. But how I deal with it is more so is I have a lot of gratitude. So I just when I get stressed, I'm just grateful. Hey, I'm stressed because I have these problems because I've done well in these other areas, right? I have a wife to stress me out. I have a business that's doing well that has these problems. I have these problems, bigger problems, because it's a bigger business or bigger life, whatever you want to call it. So showing gratitude for those things and just thinking back, back in 2011, if I wouldn't have ever dreamed of having these type of problems. My problem was, I wanted to get some rims for my Honda or whatever
right.
what it was at the time, right? So I think gratitude helps to change your outlook on things. and it can help you in that moment when you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed. And then also too, everybody's different. Having an outlet, so like the gym is your outlet. Using that, taking that breather, taking that time, even if just taking a deep breath, taking a minute to get away. I would say use whatever your outlet is. I play games sometimes, video games. I took a year off to work on the business. I just started playing again like a week ago. But just imagine, like to say, I felt like I was being a little overwhelmed. It's work, family. I just needed something else just for me. And then I have a day when I could just go have lunch by myself and enjoy the water or what's not. So that just gives me a little breather room.
You know what's interesting is because I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and they were like, a friend of mine actually asked me to speak to a family member of theirs. They wanted an easier way of earning money, so they decided that they wanted to go into entrepreneurship. They wanted to open their own business because they wanted it easier. They said that the employer was putting too much demands on them, and they felt that entrepreneurship was an easier route in that regard. And I was like, that hasn't been my experience, right? What would you say to somebody, if you were to say, okay, well, describe your entrepreneurial journey, would you say that it's easier than say working for somebody? Or would you say that it's easy?
No, it's not easy at all. People see a lot of the good things. They don't see, my business was stolen from me. I've lost like 50 grand, all my life savings at the time, to someone just taking the business and going. I had a financial audit, fines from the government, like things that like what you wouldn't see. That like I was stressed at the time, like losing hair, start going bored, all this stuff happened, and of course like the day to day, people say I want to make my own schedule. It never ends. Like I had to intentionally try to put people in place to be able to operate. Like it's a constant work. It's always something to work at, and then you have all of the risk. So when you say you want to take a day, yeah, you could not go to work, but then what's going to fall apart? You're going to lose something that you're trading off, right? So it's not easy. So I don't want to say like look at your job that you have now, then just try to multiply that by the same way you are thinking is how your team is going to be thinking about you, and everything that you're doing that you shouldn't be doing at work is what your team's going to be doing when you hire them too, as you become an entrepreneur. If you get to having a team, if you make it that as far as that, right? So,
knowing all of that now, if you go back to Miko at 2011, would you say, hey, you may want to reconsider this path, or would you do anything differently? Like, what would be your advice to 2011 Miko?
No, I wouldn't change anything. I think all of the troubles that I had, all the lessons that I learned, I would actually, let me take that back. I would do, if I knew what I knew now, I would do a lot of stuff differently earlier, right? But I wouldn't change the entrepreneurship path. I would still stick on that path. Me personally, I like to create. I like the idea of having an idea and then seeing it come forth, seeing it grow. Something like the Transformation Challenge that was just, hey, let's find a way to help our customers and get some more people in. It was free at the time. Now it's an actual, we have 170 members in the challenge, and it's growing and every year. So stuff like that I really enjoy. And it's a way that we can also help people, which I like about the health and fitness business. You're helping people with their life, and you're also able to make some money from it. So it's great.
Awesome. Now you talked about goals, right? And like the fact that you have these goals, and that's kind of how you measure success. What is your goal setting process? Like, do you have a process for it, or do these things just kind of pop into your head? Is there a system? Is there how do you determine which goals are even worth pursuing? Like, what's your process for goal setting?
Well, we reanalyze them constantly. So I've changed, in the course of this year, I probably edited my goals twice. But normally the start of the year, like everybody has their resolutions, I sort of set some of those goals, and then at the same midway point here, we for the business year, we set some other goals too. So it's something that changes, but it's also what do I want, and what for as far as personal goals, and then you have family goals, and then you have your business goals. So those are three types. Some people have spiritual goals, health goals. So you set the different types of goals for the year, and as you achieve them, or you get close to them, then you step it up a bit. That's how I do mine.
All right. And so, has there ever been a situation where you set a goal and weren't successful? And like, how did you manage, I guess, essentially failing to achieve that particular goal?
It just stays on the board. You,
Yeah.
hey, you haven't got it, so it's still something that you have a set target. You analyze, hey, why didn't I hit this? You could guess. You could say, hey, well, okay, this happened now. Maybe something like COVID comes up, or some big storm, things happen, or it just didn't go as planned. Like you thought something was going to work that didn't. Now, how do you adjust and pivot and see how you could get better? What I never like to do is lower the goal. I want to keep it the same way. I don't think you should lower it. Keep the goal where it's at, and always strive to get better.
I have seen an uptick in your social in terms of, Mr. Fitness Connection. You putting your personal brand out there a bit more. But even that is tied into the business, right? Like what's the strategy? Why was there recognition that this is something that I want to start doing or be more intentional about doing? Like, why was there an uptick in that for you?
Yeah, some of it was the advisors. People want to connect with the founder. They want to know why the business was started. It's even like one or two posts I did, even though I didn't post on my personal page, it was about the story of the business, starting out the trunk of the car and what's not. People like to know that, hey, this is how things are started, and like a winning story. So part of it is that, and like we said earlier, it's marketing. Like people have to know you, they have to know where you came from and know your story. They want to shop with you for a reason. So, and also I saw where marketing has helped me in the past, like I said, as far as with the business growth, with awareness of the brand, and it's an ongoing thing. So even if you step into a boardroom, sometimes someone might know you and you've never met because you've been making this content. So you, instead of having a cold invite, you have a warm one. So that's how I like to look at the content a bit. I want to make sure as much people know of me and know of the business. I was playing my video game I mentioned last night, and we got in the lobby with some other Bahamians. And I was talking for a while. It's like, I hear your voice from somewhere. I was like, maybe on Facebook. Oh yeah, you're the guy from the fitness ad. So even that, without seeing my face, my voice. So that was a step. Hey, you're doing the right thing. I mean, keep on making content. People could link it, and it's going to help the group grow the brand.
So, I mean, what do you have to say? Because I mean, that's something that I'm an advocate for as well, right? Like the fact that, like, I just did a talk the other night where I was talking about personal branding, and first thing I asked is, how many people have a personal brand? And only a few people raised their hands, but I was like, all of you have a personal brand, right? Like, what do you say to somebody who is an entrepreneur, they have a business, but they're like, I don't really want to put myself out there. What would you say to somebody who has that kind of mentality of, I don't want to put myself out there as a founder?
Yeah, I mean, speaking from my experience, putting a face behind the brand is essential. So even if there's some reason why you don't, really look at what that reason really is. And if it's like, hey, I can't do it, then get someone else or get another face to put behind the brand. But you need to have your brand out there. People need to know of you so that they can buy from your business. And it's better if it's a face than just a logo or a brand name. That's my opinion.
Awesome. No, I agree. Like, my whole thing is, like, if you should be the biggest, I guess, advocate for your brand, for your business, right? And like you said, the way to get people to know you and to trust you, I believe, is content and kind of putting yourself out there. I am interested. What is next for the Fitness Connection? I mean, you've obviously dominated the space here in the Bahamas. I utilize Trip Out from your brand Fitwell, and so what is there? What is next for Mr. Fitness Connection and the Fitness Connection?
Yeah, well, I appreciate you saying we dominate. I don't think we dominated the Bahamas yet. I think it's still a lot of market share that we can capture. So that's the next step, like really expanding here in the Bahamas and then looking outside of our borders. So whether it's the U.S. or other countries, trying to expand over there, we're really looking at how to do that, because that's something too, like these things in business, you don't know how. Like, how do I open a business in Latin America? How do you hire people? What type of licenses? This stuff you don't know. So that's why you bring people on who could educate you and teach you how to do these things. And for them, it's easy. So that's the next step, trying to want to optimize locally and then expand internationally. We're already doing some international orders to our e-com, which has been good. We have a couple orders every now and then come in where we're able to ship to Canada, the U.S., other places in the Trinidad, which is great. So they're going to expand that, both e-com and then maybe some physical stores.
Awesome. So if you have, I mean, somebody out there's, they're thinking about getting into business, right? Or maybe they're in there and they're kind of stuck. They're wondering, like, what advice would you have for them if they look at you and they be like, "Wow, it must be nice." You attain this level of success in your personal and your business life. What would you want them to really walk away from this episode with?
I say it is nice because I'm always awkward when people be like, "Oh, you travel. This must be nice." And this, it is nice. But I know what it took, right? I know what it took. So just one, knowing that you're gonna have to sacrifice, especially in the early stages. So be willing to give up some of those things that you enjoy, some of those things that are killing your time, and then be able to, because everybody tells you it's hard. Be able to actually know what hard is, what hard looks like. Hard looks like giving up those stuff. Hard looks like stressing over the bills. Hard looks like not being sure if this is going to come. Hard looks like a new law comes into place and your business has a full twist now, because what maybe used to be duty-free or cost you nothing cost you a lot more, right? Or maybe they even ban what you're going to do and you have to have a whole total pivot, or something like COVID comes or a hurricane comes and wipes your store out. Like, just plan for all of these stuff before. And now just know that, hey, once you keep playing the game, then you don't lose. Just got to stick with it.
Awesome. And so for the benefit of those who may want to follow you, kind of share where could the people find you, man?
TikTok, Mr. Fitness Connection. Instagram, Mr. Fitness Connection. Of course, Fitness Connection 242 on the other platforms.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much for your time and gracing the Real EQ podcast with your presence and your knowledge. I can say that, as somebody who's married into the family, you always put a lot of pressure on me, boy. I mean, between your old man and you, I can say that, my wife knows what good men look like. And, I consider it a privilege that, I'm able to have that relationship that I have with you guys. And, you've always inspired me. I admire you as a business owner, but first and foremost, I admire you as a man. So I appreciate all of the love and attention and care that you guys have embraced me with coming in to the family. So, yeah.
I appreciate that, man. And I think you're doing a great job, the podcast, the business in general. And, of course, I love the way that you love my sister. You've had her up on the board at the last speaking, but she had nothing to do with it. And I was showing that person, that inspires me to be more like that. I'm probably not going to put my wife up on the board for everybody to see, but I appreciate that. I was want to say that on the podcast.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you. All right, guys, there you have it. We just wrapped up this amazing episode of the Real EQ podcast with my good brother-in-law, D'Amico Nesbitt, Mr. Fitness Connection, founder and CEO of The Fitness Connection. Some key takeaways from this episode was, know that it's going to be hard. The journey isn't easy, but the rewards at the end of it, if you persist and stay consistent, is worth it. Definitely, as a founder, you want to share your story through high quality content, because the more they see you, the more they trust you. And also that sometimes, you don't know where you're going to end up, but the main thing is that you want to set your goals and aggressively go after them. All right. I'm Ethan Quant, your host of the Real EQ podcast. And so don't forget, until next time, do the work and get uncomfortable. Peace. Good.
All right.
Awesome. That was good, buddy.